out there, the high friction surface treatment outside box site. You look at it, you pull on it, you see how far. Can you imagine being on a motorcycle sliding on that stuff and really rip your skin off? Forest Strategic Highway, I need a pointer here. Forest Strategic Highway Safety Plan. In January of 2015, the commissioners of the Department of Safety and the Department of Transportation and the lead at FHWA signed off on our Strategic Highway Safety Plan. It really looks good, it's a fancy document, but more so what's in the document. It's strategies and countermeasures of how to save lives, how to reduce injury crashes on Tennessee roadway. And don't forget, it's not a Department of Transportation's document. It's not FHWA's document. It's Tennessee's document. The more partners we can get on the Strategic Highway Safety Plan Committee as being members from local governments, from county group superintendents, anybody we can get. We have RPOs and MPOs are free and welcome to be part of this team. We need everyone's input. When we're here to save lives, to reduce crashes, reduce the injury of crashes, the severity of, it takes a team effort. One thing I enjoy about speaking, which I typically don't enjoy speaking, it's not a fun thing. Everybody's staring at you and not really good at it. But the passion I get out of it is we're all here in one room with a single goal of trying to save that next life, trying to stop that next crash. A few years ago, I said in my office, we created Safety Office in 2010, so we're going on our 6th year. About 3 years ago, I sat in my office and GIS mapping section is right next to me. And I was like, you know, let's print off the last 3 years of fatal crashes. Every year I want to color code them a different color so I know how frequent they are, if they're on the same road, and I'll know what years are happening. The map stretched from about that wall to about me. And I am lucky that I do have a big office. We moved stuff around and laid it out in the middle of my floor, and most of my staff laughed at me because it spent weeks and weeks and weeks of time. I was laying on the floor, getting down into it and seeing what roads was having more crashes, where fatalities happened. And realistically and ideally, it looked just like I took a shotgun and just shot at it. It was random. It was all over the place. If the fatality in Tennessee is happening on a single road, a single curve, a single intersection, I believe we'd all fix that one by now. But it's not like that. The random in nature, the random in cause. First harmful event is always different. And right now with the use of cell phones, it is really hard for people to keep their eyes on the road and stay on a roadway. So one of the things we always look at is safety engineers, safety professionals. How can we keep a person on our roadway? Oh, I like that picture better. That almost looks like I went out there and took a picture of Danny, what Danny did. You can see the high friction and the regular asphalt. But one of the countermeasures we use in Tennessee is high friction surface. And we always talk about low cost safety countermeasures. Well, high friction surface is not a low cost. It's lower cost than realigning a roadway. It does fix super elevations. It does improve the skid resistance on wet weather crashes. It helps a lot of stuff, but it's really not low cost, especially for a local municipality saying, you know, I'm going to come up and pay for this myself. So one of the great things that Frank's talking about, and what Danny's been talking about, and what Danny's doing out there, is doing it yourself. And there he is right there. Is being able to come out here and do something yourself. Danny, do you know, since you just walked in, about how much money it costs to do that spot you did out there?
Well, I tell you what, we're getting on our road today for $25 to $30 per yard.
But what's your cost right there? You just did.
$500.
Okay, I did the calculation of your same thing for our contract, and it'd probably be more than this because we let these things because it's so expensive. When we let them in Tennessee, we let them in a big group. We let several intersections. Matter of fact, the last contract we just let over the summer was over 100 locations. So you could imagine we're getting a better bid price. It came in at $20 a square yard. That's not too bad. So that area that Danny just did is about $1,000. Did you say you did it at $400? So by doing it yourself, you just save a lot of money. If we let a contractor do that, I promise you it'd probably double that for that little small piece. Small quantities. So understanding what you can do on a local level is very, very important. And we're all here, and we pass around that Strategic Highway Safety Plan, and we look through it, is work together to do stuff out here to save lives. Also, and I hope just about everybody has this, did a little printout per counties. And our section is all about statistics. I came into it not wanting to be a statistic kind of person, but I'm sorry, I really am. We want to be a data-driven state. We make sure we put stuff down and have data-driven decisions. So what you have in front of you is lane departure crashes for every county. So you'll be able to look up and say, okay, what's our county look like? Our city highway safety plan. That link right there is really long. I tried it this morning. The easy way to do is probably type in Brian Hurst, Tennessee Department of Transportation. Under my name, there's a link to the city highway safety plan. Everybody should have that. Everybody needs a copy of that link. Make sure you go into it as a good resource. City highway safety plan's goal to reduce the number and rate of fatalities and serious injury in Tennessee. One of the first things you see right here, it pops up, is the highest percentage of serious injury crashes is roadway departure. Somebody leaving that roadway. Again, this is all about high friction. How do we keep on that darn roadway? Even more staggering. Fatality percentage. Roadway departure. You got a common thread going on here. The same things happen over and over and over. Some of these other ones, you know, I would like to say we can fix. Wear your darn seatbelts. Second one. We're not here to talk about wear your seatbelt. Alcohol, speeding, you know, still running off the road. Senior drivers, intersection, motorcycles, it starts going down after that. But keep the people on the roadway. When you hit a fixed object, you hit a tree, you hit a utility pole, they just don't give. Even for lane departures. Lane departure, roadway departure is the same thing for me. I know FHW has a different definition of it. If you leave your lane and hit a head-on, that other vehicle is not going to give either. Stay in your road. Again, I just mentioned as you're looking through there, the city highway safety plan, the high friction service treatment is under infrastructure and improvements in this area, which I'm the point of contact, point of accountability for under that. There's a strategy. Not going to read that whole thing. It's basically put down high friction surface, improve the friction of your roadway through horizontal, vertical curves and stop control situations. That's the page from it. I'm not lying to y'all, it's really in there. We'll make sure y'all understand what's going on. Roadway departures in Tennessee. 60%, we just seen the numbers pop up, 60% of all our fatal crashes are leaving the roadway, lane departure, roadway departure crashes, compared to nationally, 50%. What's that mean to us in Tennessee? That we're a focus state, and we continue to be a focus state on roadway departure crashes. We get assistance through FHWA. They give us time, money, and attention, help us build a plan. We have several plans inside Tennessee Department of Transportation about roadway departures. High friction is just one of them. About 2 years ago, is that when Everyday Counts 2 came out? Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Y'all heard us all praise Danny, and his head's gonna get so big he can get out of here. But Danny was ahead of the times for Tennessee. About in 2007, Danny went out there and just so happened to be my dad. They fed the chickens on I-440, the ramp over top of 24, and it's been there for many years. I got the statistics on it. He was trying to lead the nation what's going on. Most people didn't understand high friction, how to use it. Most states, when I talk to, when I go nationwide, it's failing out here. My executive leaders don't want it anymore. Because we have a champion like Danny, he made sure that our specs was such that we're not going to fail. I have a lead in our safety office, Matt Gibbons. Matt, you raise your hand? I like to call him out. He's our project manager over our high friction surface safety initiative. Over the summer, we led over 100 locations in Region 4, which is west of the Tennessee River, and in Region 2, which is Chattanooga to Cookeville. Pending funding availability, we're going to finish the state next year with more locations than that. It looks like around 200 more locations. That's going to be in the Knoxville area, all the east, and right here in the middle of Tennessee area. Matter of fact, Clay grabbed me before this even started and said, hey Brian, on 386 there's some ramps that's pretty bad. We have them on our radar. Just got to get out there and get to it. No surprise, we've been talking about what we're going to do here. High friction surface treatments. Same picture you had, wasn't it? Just about. This is some of the locations we've seen where they're cleaning the surface. Make sure you prep it. You've got to have a clean surface. Exact same thing we just seen Danny doing out there. Add the epoxy to it. And this is what we use here in Tennessee to spread the aggregate. What was so interesting about the ones we led over the summertime is Danny and Matt, I don't want to say babysitting, but they was out there daily. They was out there first started a contract to make sure our contractors knew how important it was that Tennessee succeeds on installing this. And inspector, there you go. It's important to know what you're doing out there. If you put down any kind of improvement, any kind of, even if you use a different sign, if you install something, the main thing is make sure it's done correctly. What you don't ever want to have is something being installed and it not work. Because then everybody above you is going to say, don't use it again. It is. At T-Dot, we have it all the time. Don't use it again, it didn't work. It's so easy to say no.
Right.
Make sure you do it correctly. I've got 2 videos. Okay. This was a pilot project we did in West Tennessee. See, they're covered in 2 ways. They're spraying it on and they're shoving it on. Matt, you took this video, didn't you? Real interesting job there. Because Danny's actually doing this out in the field or out there in our parking lot. You can see, same technique. Make sure you get your coverage. Everything y'all seen out there is the same thing the contractors do. But again, with the cost, it's so much easier and so much cheaper if we do this in-house. What was interesting about this, and being they knew that Matt and Danny had oversight, the construction office kept us in a loop, called us daily to let us know that the project was moving forward or was being delayed. Earlier, in the early summer, we had a lot of rain, a lot of bad weather, so we kept delaying. We want to make sure that you have a good day to put this down. High friction lane departure, increased crew resistance, 35% decrease on rural roads, and 54% decrease in urbanized areas. Here's some of the locations that we've done here in Tennessee. Marion County, I-24, going over Mount Eagle Mountain. It's not the crashes that we've seen Frank talk about, where 200 down to 10. We had 7 crashes before, no fatal, no serious injury, 4 lane departures, 1 wet weather. Afterwards, you had 4, 3 still having some 3 lane departures. So for us, this one just got completed. We got to figure out what else is going on out there. Maybe high friction is not the solution at this location. You want to make sure that you're honest with your information. Not everything's going to blow you out of the water. Go, wow, look at this. Sometimes high friction just is not the answer. Sometimes you need some more stuff out there. For local road, Cobb County, 10 crashes, 1 serious injury, 7 lane departures, 4 wet. Afterwards, 4 crashes, 3 lane departures, 1 wet. There is a reduction. You see the trend lines going down. What we did not do, and again, we did a naive study, what we didn't do is go in there and see how many of those was alcohol related, how many of them was distracted driving. We didn't look at that. We just pure numbers. But there's still a decrease. There's the 2 routes we did, and there's a local route with a curve down there. The Davis County I-440, the one that Danny and my dad fed the chickens on, 31 crashes, 1 fatal. Out of the 31 crashes, 31 was lane departure crashes. 31 of them was wet weather crashes. So here's where we're going to see our big numbers. Afterwards, one crash after this. This is 7 years after this. It was only 3 years before us, and this is 7 years after. One total crash afterwards. One lane departure, one wet weather. It's still working out there. Cheatham County, they're up 249, 6 crashes, one lane departure, one wet weather. Afterwards, no crashes. Those are the kind of numbers that we want to see out there. There's your I-440. There's your Cheatham County. Again, we have a lot of locations down in Tennessee, and we can pull statistics on any one of them. We want to make sure that y'all see that your data is going to range from what it is. When we created the High Frequency Surface Safety Initiative, we started with percent grade, percent curve, a number of crashes, ADT. One thing we want to make sure we look at is the number of total crashes out there. We started with 3 years of crashes, and any 3 years means that you have a system of having one crash every year. But when we looked at it, and Matt, tell me if I'm wrong, some of the locations had over 100 crashes, and it was on rural roads. Just because they're down there right now, it's going to take us a little time to see what the after data is, but I'm pretty darn confident, just looking at that little small sample, that we're going to have a reduction. What we're doing with our safety initiative, and this is to help FHWA and ourselves, is once we have our complete years of before and after data, we're going to create a crash modification factor, crash reduction factor, and try to help all the other stages show what's going on out there. We're going to have a big sample. So what we did, we went out there and found all our locations we found. We made sure the surface was good. We didn't put it on no surface that was bad. And Danny helped us out with that. Him and Joseph looked at all the locations, make sure it just wasn't bad. You don't want rutting, you don't want full alligator. This is not a pass job. It's got to go over a pretty good surface. So we made sure the surface was good. We checked super elevation on every one, every recorded, so we know when we had bad super elevations. We did the PC to PT, the port of curvature and the port of tangent. We knew where it started, where it ended. We knew the grid of curvature. We also knew the crash data, and we also captured wet weather crash data. We want to make sure what's going on out there. So once we have all these locations completed, we'll be able to pull back and say what exactly worked at each location. Did it fix supers? Did it fix wet? Did it fix all types of crashes? So we'll have a really good sample size. So here in about another 2.5 years, I'm going to be excited to come back and share this information with a lot of y'all, saying here's how we succeeded, or even if we failed, here's how we failed. And if we do fail, what do we need to do to fix the situation? So making roadways safer, one application at a time. And I think that's where we're at today, is I believe high frequency surface treatment is a very good treatment. I also know that the expensive treatment, from what FHWA and what Danny's showing y'all, is we can do this in-house, do this with our own staff, save time, effort, and save money, and also reduce crashes. That's it.
All right, thank you, Brian. Okay, we've got a scheduled break.